The all-new Honda CR-V Hybrid is going to be one of the most economical SUVs on the market with 204 horsepower in this urban gray here in Lakeland, Florida at Regal Honda. It's a little bit over an inch taller than the prior gen. It has a wide structure to the front, more boxy, more rugged, standard LED headlamps and daytime runnings with the gloss black from the top of the grille that goes into the headlamp assembly, giving us a larger effect to the front and a wider opening for the grille. The lower will have an active grille shutter, same clearance as the prior gen at 7.8 inches, but the platform is off the Civic, which is the same platform as the HR-V. Because this is the Sport Touring, we're going to get these gloss black 19-inch 5 double spoke alloy wheels. The matte black will surround the fenders and the front trim of the bumper. Larger brakes, beefier subframe. The A-pillars are going to have more sound deadening because the hybrid trim is going to be the most quiet trim for the new CR-V. If you option the turbo, it's going to be a little bit more road noise. Well, you'll see in the review, it's a substantial difference in this one. You could check the other video that I've already released on the 1.5 turbo where it does get a little bit more noisy because you're going to hear the engine more often. Gloss black on the side view mirrors and on the roof rails, chrome around all the windows that shape into more or less a larger C. The lower skirt keeps the matte black so it's a little bit more settled, but it still has that rugged look in which now all of the Hondas have this unique line that starts from the headlight assembly, runs underneath your side view mirror, that goes into the signature LED vertical tail lights. 2.7 inches longer than the prior gen, nearly 185 inches. This is about 15 inches less than the all-new Pilot, 58.8, 41.28 distribution. Powering this hybrid is a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder hybrid with a combined of 204 horsepower, 247 pound-feet of torque. It will be paired to a CVT transmission, but you're going to be receiving 40 to 34 mpgs. So you're going to have a happy medium because you have great gas consumption in an SUV. Power lift gate with a wide opening. It's about 3 feet of clearance, so it's lower. 39.3 cubic feet is the interior specs. LED interior lighting with a 12 volt. Split fold the rear bench at a 60-40 split. Increasing cargo to 76.5 cubic feet, which is more than Toyota, Subaru, and Nissan. Towing decreases to 1,000 pounds because this is the hybrid trim. If you get the turbo, 1,500 pounds. Going inside the all-new CR-V Hybrid Touring, headroom at 38 inches, legroom at 38 inches, 10-way power seat adjustment, leather-wrapped seats with the orange contrast stitch, perforated heated front seats, memory for the driver. The passenger gets 4-way power adjustment seats. Starting off with the dash in gloss black, and you'll get that aluminum look that runs into the seamless air vents. Very clean pattern, minimalistic look, Bose upgraded sound system, 9-inch touchscreen with navigation, and a volume knob. We have the pinch and the swipe. Click the home button, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Wi-Fi hotspot, Honda Link. Put it into reverse. We have a reverse camera. No 360 degree here. Full trajectory. Click onto these icons and you can change the camera layout. Dual climate control settings. Underneath, a wireless charging pad, 12 volt, 2 USB ports, leather around your shifter, and for the 3-spoke steering wheel, it's heated. You'll also have that orange stitchwork that goes around it. Multi-function. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. The paddle shifters are for your regenerative braking. The gloss black that's going to go all around it. The gauge cluster has an array of information for the driver. Going into your driver mode select. When you push, it starts off with Sport, Normal, Econ, and Snow. Cup holders is where I've stored the key fob for the CRV. An area for some sunglasses. It's going to be more sporty, but it's still pretty soft with that contrast stitching yet again. Going inside with a storage tray that you can adjust front or back. And it's nice because if you need to get something this way, it's easy, and vice versa, you can get something this way, or just simply take it out because it's a deep storage pocket. The door panels integrate into the dash. Everything is going to look wider and more open in the interior. The door panels are going to have more of your soft materials, but it's still kind of everyday. Gloss black, and you get the aluminum look. Memory for the driver, one touch up and down for all the windows, dual panel for the front windows. Soft for your elbows, get the contrast stitching yet again, harder materials down here, which you would expect, and the storage pocket is a pretty deep storage pocket, it's just not so wide. And we have a sunroof for the back seats, 38.2 inches of headroom, 41 inches of legroom. It's a very spacious interior. I've adjusted the seat the way it should be. You can also adjust it back so you can recline, in which this lifts up because it just goes wherever you're positioning the seat. One thing to note is the seat belt, if you leave it attached, is either going to be on the headrest or behind. In either case, it's always going to be on your shoulder because of the width of the seats. The center gets 2 USB ports and air vents, and storage only behind the passenger seat. The door panel looks the same as the front, but it's going to be harder materials than the front. Soft for your elbows with the contrast stitching in the orange, one touch up and down for the windows. But I do like that we still get this, because if you go to the sport trim, it will not be the same look as the front. The storage pocket is almost the same size as the front. Sitting into the center, headroom is not going to be an issue. It's carved out. So I like that they've done this in the sense that I don't have to go to the pilot. Leg space is also good. I'm not really against the back of the front seat in the position I'd be sitting. The rails are pushed up really far, so I have a lot of feet space. Butt and shoulder space isn't bad either because it's a wider interior. 204 horsepower, what does that go against? Well, it's going to be more horsepower than all the rivals unless you go to the Toyota RAV4 hybrid, and then the torque at 247 is going to be more in this than in that. So you do have some power underneath here, 40 mpgs and 34 mpgs. That's a really good mixture for an SUV in the sense of most people, when they buy a Honda, they're going to drive it for the long haul. So now you're going to be saving a substantial amount of money. You have that bold design on the exterior, and it's going to be more quiet because this is the hybrid touring trim. Obviously, if you just go into the hybrid sport, it's still going to be quiet, but this is going to give you all the features in which I explained in the interior. You will not get some of those when you get into the sport trim. The disadvantage, though, is you do have to go into the hybrid variants in order to get every single feature. There's no options. You have to go up the tiers. I have it in sport mode because this is a hybrid. Half the time you don't hear the engine when you're waiting, but let's see how she goes. It doesn't feel overly wide. The flat hood makes it feel a little bit more easy in the sense of knowing the width of the vehicle too. So I think Honda really did stress safety, especially with the 8 pillars. They're pushed up more so. The seats are a lot more desirable. You finally get standard power seat adjustments on all trims except for the passenger side. You do have to option into the hybrid or go up the tier in order to get actual power seat adjustments. Heated front seats is also standard. These are things that usually you would pay more money. They don't offer ventilated seats. That is a disadvantage. As long as you're not hearing that engine, because it makes like a whining noise, a lot better. They did a great job in improving from 2022. When you get into the turbo, it's about the same. It's not much difference because they didn't really go all out. They just went all out for the hybrid trims, which is going to take me to some things I like and dislike. And starting off with is what I like about the all-new CRV. The interior, it's going to have the most wide and spacious, airy feel amongst all the rivals because they've cleaned it up so seamlessly, and yet it's more of a minimalistic look, but everything fits where it needs to, and everything is very easy to configure. Before we get to the second thing, look how she goes. I'm gonna put it on the B-roll. Not much happening there. Use the paddle shifters. That's gonna help the B-roll a lot more so for the regenerative braking. If I loosen it up, you're not gonna feel the B-roll at all. And if you put it there without, it's gonna usually stay around a 2, so it's not necessarily bad. It's more of an everyday drive. Taking me to the second thing that I like is you can actually tolerate the B-roll or the paddles to make the regenerative braking more aggressive, and you could still use it as a daily use. Because look, I have it full and I'm still rolling, but I'm still getting power. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is they didn't go crazy with the length. I like the new Pilot, don't get me wrong, but 15 inches is a little excessive because it's almost 200 inches long. Here, we went 2.7 inches long, so it's not that much of a difference from the prior gen. So if you're used to that vehicle, even with the width, it's about an inch-ish taller. It's nothing that's gonna really make a huge dramatic difference because you're still at 7.8 inches of clearance. Three things that I dislike is the whining engine noise. When it does filter in, it's just like wow, wow, wow. And I understand, it's a 4-cylinder, it's a hybrid, this is gonna happen, but you would think they would add a little bit more soundproof to that area so it wouldn't filter in, because they did a great job with exterior noise where it barely filters in. Turn radius at more or less a stop point, still right at 2 lanes, just like the last gen. Let's go. I guess it's kind of cool too, the engine whining noise, because it sounds like it's a little performance, but it's very drone-like. So you can get used to it. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle has to go with the dashboard layout. I think the Pilot really utilized the storage better. Here they just simply took the same dash from the Civic and the HR-V and just threw it in here. With the Pilot, you have storage on the passenger side and driver's side. I would like to see that across all of the SUVs because it's a sports utility vehicle. The last thing that I dislike is when you option any of these vehicles, you have to option it up the tier. And when you do option it up the tier, you do still lose amenities in the sense of you're losing towing capacity because the hybrid can't tow as much. It doesn't have the same type of payload. We've increased the brakes, that's great. And when you get to the touring, you get all the features, but they're decreasing the amenities on the exterior. Going to the rivals, this is going to have a little bit more updated in the technology. When you go to the touring, I mean, you get Bose sound system. That is awesome. The safety features, the adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist is basically the same, but it has improved from the prior gen. So you're getting a lot of improvements there. The ride quality is also smoother, and you will want to option the hybrid if you're wanting to have the most quiet drive. I'd like to thank Regal Honda for giving us this 2023 Honda CR-V hybrid touring for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the merchandise website and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like.